হ্যালো 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 এটা ডিস্টার্ব এটা ডিস্টার্ব এটা ডিস্টার্ব হ্যালো 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 আমি শুনতে পাচ্ছি
Kuch Bihar Panchanath Bhavan University, respected teacher in charge, Srimati Shushmita Pandit, our collaborating partner and patron, Dr. Shashanta Rai, Secretary, Indian Medical Association, RQAC Coordinator, Dr. Paramita Ghosh, respected resource persons of the day, Professor Dr. Rajendra Singh, Dr. Abhishek Shankar, Dr. Tanmay Chakrabarti, Dr. Shubir Mukhopadhyay, Dr. Abhijit Chakrabarti, all my colleagues and dear participants. I am Shushmita Singh, librarian of Moinaguri College. It is a matter of immense pleasure for me to welcome you all to this national webinar on the role of science and technology during COVID-19 pandemic, a perspective analysis, organized by the Department of Science and IQAC of Moinaguri College in collaboration with Indian Medical Association, Jalpaiguri, West Bengal. The contribution of science, technology, and innovation at this time of crisis linked to the coronavirus disease is key not only for facing current health challenges but also for supporting production efforts aimed at economic recovery after the pandemic. The transfer of knowledge, skills, and solutions in the science and technology fields can have profound and lasting impact on the development trajectories of nations and people. The world cannot develop or advance, nor can we achieve the sustainable development goals without modern technology and new solutions to the old problems. The COVID-19 pandemic has underscored the pressing need for countries to focus on more on elevating science, technology, and innovation in both policy and practical terms. Putting a small effort in knowing more about the role of science and technology during this COVID-19 pandemic, we, the Department of Science and Technology and IQAC of Moinaguri College, in collaboration with Indian Medical Association, Jalpaiguri, have organized this webinar, and I feel really proud announcing here that we have a total of 1,450 participants who have registered in this webinar from almost 24 different countries. We hope that this effort of ours will bring fruitful results and we move back to our normal daily routines with some knowledge and a positive attitude towards this situation. So without speaking much ahead, now I would like to invite our teacher in charge, Srimati Shushmita Pandit, to present her inaugural address. Madam, I would request you to kindly take over the platform, please.
Is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, the teacher in charge of Managuri College. And today is a very good day for the people of Jalpaiguri. As you know, Jalpaiguri is getting its well-IoT medical college, the tertiary hospital in our city. So congratulations to everybody of Jalpaiguri town. And definitely we are passing through a very bad day of last 9 months, more than 9 months, to the pandemic of COVID-19. And as I am in charge of the pandemic COVID-19, North Bengal, throughout the North Bengal, I have to run here and there. So during this time, I can tell all of you that we took the advantage of the science very much during these pandemic areas. As you know, this disease, which was not known to us very nicely previously, we are learning day by day. So we thought when the enemy is an unknown, so we thought that defensive is the best thing for us. And we went for the lockdown, we went for the stay in the home and everything. Now, after passing to 9 days, within these nine months, we have arranged the scientific measure to have detection of the coronavirus. Detection is very much important so that we can isolate the patients having the coronavirus affection. And now we are taking another help from the science. We are going for measuring the virus load of the coronavirus. Now we are very much busy. We are having this our thesis on the coronavirus virus load. If the virus load is much more inside the body of a person, there is a spreading capacity is much more. So we are keeping it in mind. We are working hard day and night on this matter, and I hope the science will take us to a new path for management of the COVID-19. And so far as the vaccine is concerned, I don't know when it will come and whether it is possible because it is RNA virus. And with the help of the science, we are taking the help of the RT-PCR machine, TrueNAT machine, rapid antigen test machine, etc. and etc. So I think some more things are coming. So the COVID-19 can be minimized or can be stopped by the invention of some more measure from the science. We are working hard on the matter. So don't mind, actually, I have to go to some important meeting right now. I may join in the during the session. I'll be out for now for another 1 hour. Then after 1 hour, I will talk to you again, if possible, okay?
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
And we are very much grateful that you could take out some time for us during your extremely busy schedule. So thank you so much, sir. And we will be waiting for you to join again with us.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
So now I would like to call upon our IQAC coordinator, Dr. Paramita Ghosh, to speak a few words in this platform. Madam.
Thank you, Shushmita. And thank you, Shushmita Di, for your encouragement and all. And thank you, Dr. Sushanta Kumar Rai, for this valuable input. And as a patron, we always are grateful to have you around. So, and for the rest, good morning and a very warm welcome to you all, respected dignitaries and Dear participants, colleagues, friends, and students, a very warm welcome to you all. So today we have gathered here on this virtual platform to discuss the role of science and technology in the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Actually, what we can see from the situation right now, what we are going through, that it has significantly raised the need to have a scientific ecosystem so that we can deal with such a situation, pandemic situation at present and in future. And this discussion or this webinar today aims to continue with this process to have a set of better systems, to strategies also we might say to handle for this pandemic situation, to have better treatment strategies also, so that not only this COVID-19 situation but also what we may have in future days, so that we can deal with this in a very stable manner. Of course, the current pandemic situation has thrown off the path from what we were having as a normal life for the last 9 months, as Dr. Sushanta Rai has pointed out. So this is what we are going to have a discussion around. And thank you everyone for joining us today to discuss this relevant issue. Thank you everyone once again. Over to you, Shushmita.
Thank you so much, madam. Now, moving ahead, I would like to invite Panchali Roy from Department of Chemistry, Department of Physics, and Paushali Roy from Department of Mathematics. Both of them are um, they are the member of the organizing committee of this webinar, and they will be starting the technical session. So I would like to request both of them to take over and start this session for the day. Over to you, Panchali and Paushali.
Thank you, Shushmita Singh ma'am. As one of the conveners of this international webinar, let me now take the privilege to invite the first resource person of today's webinar, Dr. Abhijit Chakraborty, to deliver his valuable lecture. But first of all, a few introductory information about Dr. Chakraborty are due. Dr. Abhijit Chakraborty is currently a research scientist at the Department of Medicine, Immunology, Allergy and Rheumatology section, Baylor College of Medicine, USA, currently working on mechanism and prevention of SARS-CoV-2. After completing BSc and MSc in microbiology from North Bengal University, he did his PhD in cancer genetics from West Bengal University of Health Sciences, Kolkata, India. He has a postdoc experience from University of Minnesota, USA. He has an extensive research experience in cancer prevention research, clinical cancer biology, microbiology, and molecular biology. SARE has 68 international peer-reviewed research awards from different countries, including Singapore, Japan, Switzerland, Belgium, and Portugal. He is the executive editor of Indian Journal of Social, Preventive, and Rehabilitative Oncology since 2016. Editorial board member of ARC Journal of Cancer Science since 2015, Journal of Oncology Research, IGRPS since 2016, Cancer Prognostic and Diagnostic, International Journal of Cancer and Treatment since 2016. He is also the reviewer of many international journals like the Breast Cancer Research and Treatment, Asian Pacific Journal of Cancer Prevention, Life Sciences, Elsevier, Natural Product Research. Sir, it is a pleasure to have you with us to share some knowledge among the participants. I request you to kindly take over the platform. Over
Hi.
to you, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for inviting me for such a good webinar. Okay, so let me start the presentation. So everyone can see the presentation, right? Hello,
No, sir, it's not visible yet.
it's not visible. Okay. Let me know when it's visible, right?
Okay, okay, sir.
So now
Not
it is
yet?
visible. So now it is
Okay.
visible.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
perfect. Sorry. Okay, so today I'm gonna discuss about the COVID-19, where we are today. So since November, December 2019, there is an outbreak of a virus which generated from Wuhan, China, of whom developed pneumonia-like symptoms and had contact with the same seafood market in China. So it is exactly not clear how many people are initially infected because the symptoms and the diagnosis is everything is new because of the novel thing. So people are assuming, then scientists are assuming that this virus is kindly related to um, this virus kind of related to the 2020 2000 sorry 2002-3 outbreak because the genetically 80% is similar with that. So as of yesterday, that is 29th of September, near about 33 million people had been infected globally with 1 million of deaths. So today I'm going to discuss and summarize what is known about this outbreak and share some prevention practice likely to help prevent human infection. So if you see the world map right now, as of today, so you can see in the world, almost every country infected with this COVID-19. So the confirm of in case of death and till 29th of September, United States is the highest one. Next one is Brazil and India is in number 3. And in case of fatality rate worldwide, so you can see after March 15 that there is a huge increase of new cases, but in case of death, this remains constant worldwide. But when you come to India, the death rate and the new cases rate became high day by day till now. So the good thing is that if you see the map of world map for death, of the fatality rate is executed from Europe and US, whereas in India the death rate is not so high. So that's a good positive thing for Indian people. So the death rate and the positive rate is depends on the test. So in worldwide, in every 1,000 people, Denmark is have the highest test facility and testing facility. And as per the confirmed cases in the report from the 27th of September, the Germany is the highest one, that 57.6%. That means every one people within 57.6 people tested positive with the COVID-19. So what is the SARS-CoV-2? So SARS-CoV-2 is kind of a new virus. Is people first identified as kind of pneumonia kind of symptoms, and which generated from Wuhan, China in last December 2019. It's probably started in animal, but now spreading between the people everywhere. This virus is new, so very few things, very limited things known about that virus. So in 11th March of 2020, WHO declared that's a pandemic. and this is going to spread human to human after the March. So although there is a lot of things we don't know about this virus, but we and try to prevent this virus as much as possible. So then there is a question, what is the origin of the virus? So most researchers now agree that SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus probably originated from bats. So scientists study a lot and discovered there is two kind of virus from isolated from Yunnan, and another bird isolated from um, uh, isolated from the, the next neighborhood country of China. So that is Malayan. And some researchers also found that when they check the genome sequence, they found that this virus probably can be generated from the pangolin, which is also have the 92% similarity of genome sequence. So the structure on the structural basis of this virus contains spike protein, nuclear capsid, membrane envelope, and RNA of viral genome. So this is the how the virus can infect the human epithelial cell like lung cell. So actually this virus bind with the cell, human cell, with by the help of ACE2 and TMPRSS2. This is two kind of receptor. These two receptor bind with the spike protein of the SARS virus, and then the virus enter to the cell. After entering to the cell, it releases DNA, it releases RNA. This RNA again replicated and then package again and release for more virus. So that's why the virus, that is where the way the virus complete its life cycle. So I'm not going to give more details on the mechanism thing, but only this is the structure of our lung cells. So when the virus infected, lung cell produce much more immunological particles like cytokine storm, activated neutrophils. These things are help us to fight against the virus. But the virus is so strong that that can be it release again much more viral particle which infect ultimately damage our lung cell. So this virus is not a new virus. So if you can see this similar kind of virus presenting world faced before. So most important virus is the flu. So this is near about globally 1 billion people infected by this flu that is called, we know as a seasonal flu, infected every year, 1 billion people were infected. Or in case of SARS, which was a pandemic in 2003, and in March, that is Middle East respiratory virus, that was a pandemic in 2014. So the case fatality rate and mortality rate is very high compared to COVID-19. But why COVID-19 is so dangerous right now, looks like a dangerous? Because it's transmission. So the fact is that the SARS-CoV-2 is more similar to SARS-CoV than MERS. So the only difference in the genome sequence and the fatality rate is lower than SARS and MERS. So it's this virus is less frequent than SARS and MERS also. And the most important thing of this virus is it has a high transmission system, so it can easily attack to any other new host and spread from that host. So the key event of this virus spreading in end of December 2019, who alert the Chinese authorities that there is some kind of pneumonia kind of disease ongoing, and from 1st January and 2020, Wuhan food market was closed. And the first week of January, genome sequence, which is the best point to start the research to prevention strategies on this. And day by day, it increases and spread worldwide. So one of the important thing for spreading is the cruise ship case, that is a Diamond Princess cruise ship that was situated in Japan. When it's come back to USA, that lots of people were like near about 700 people infected from this virus, and they spread to US. So what are the symptoms for this virus? So in common symptoms include fever, cough, sore throat, fatigue, and symptoms develop near about 2 to 14 days after infection. So, and severe cases, people have pneumonia, kidney failure, and severe acute respiratory syndrome, that is the uh, breathing problem. So in case of transmission, SARS-CoV-2 is likely transmitted from bat to other animals. And in case of when it's come to human, it's only spread person to person by touching infected area or by droplets. So person to person transmission risks was proved in January. That research work was published in the New England Journal of Medicine. They proved in that this transmission only happen with the person to person. These are like, if hand dryer effective for killing virus, the answer is COVID-19. UV light also cannot kill the virus. So you can't take the UV light on your skin, it can be damage your skin. So in in airport, you can see that there is a thermal scanner. The thermal scanner can be effective only when you have a fever, and then it can detect. If you don't have a fever or anything, it cannot be detected. Spraying alcohol or chlorine all over the body is not a solution also for this. So if you have a pets at your home, is it spread virus? The answer is no. There is no current evidence that a pet can spread virus. So if you take a pneumonia vaccine against the to protect the SARS-CoV-2, is it work? So the answer is no. Currently, no vaccine can work against the SARS-CoV-2. So if next is the, if you regularly rinsing your nose while saline, with saline and something else, is it prevent? Answer is no. There is no chances to prevent coronavirus by rinsing your nose. Regular mouthwash also does not work in this case. And some people saying eating garlic can prevent this infection of virus. Yeah, garlic is a healthy food, but it has some antimicrobial properties, but it have no evidence that it can kill the SARS-CoV-2. Different kind of antibiotics people are taking, like antibiotics, go to the shop and eating antibiotics to prevent that one. That's also not a good solution, and no other medicine can prevent till now. So only there is two kind of test whether the COVID-2 infected or not. So there is, one is PCR test, another is serological test. The PCR test is most genuine and most accurate test to detect COVID-19 or not, because the serological test only give you the positive result when you already infected and your body produce antibodies against the COVID-2. So the PCR test is the most accurate test for the diagnosis. So now people are approaching to invent some vaccine against that. So this is the scientist idea to work. So they are using live virus particles, inactivated virus particles. They produce some synthetic peptides and some virus, same kind of virus like particles, uh, and other recombinant subunits to prevent that one. So this is how the scientists work to prevent the uh, spread of the disease. So there is some kind of monoclonal antibodies which can block the receptor of human lung cells, which so that the virus cannot be bind with that cell. And there is some chemostat, nafamostat kind of medicine which is already available. So that also can disrupt the TMPRSS2 to bind with the SARS-CoV-2. And there is few more uh, vaccine which is scientists working with. So these are all affected with the viral life cycle to prevent the viral life cycle. So most important in the remdesivir, this is the most important work is going on now. This is most accurately, like we scientists got some good positive result in phase 1 and phase 2 trial with the remdesivir and lopanavir also. So, but the important thing is that hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine, this trial got failed, and it's showing that it don't have any kind of effect to prevent the viral life cycle. So what kind of treatment the scientists are working out right now? So to generate personalized virus-specific T cell, which is a potential therapeutic to prevent a SARS-CoV-2 infection. That is, they are uh, preparing some T cell and dendritic cell from the patients, and they are trying to give the cancer patient, because the cancer patient is much more vulnerable in SARS-CoV-2. So this is another treatment strategy. So there is a question now, why do people respond so differently? So some people never develop symptoms, whereas others apparently healthy, and some have severe fatal pneumonia. So after analyzing the genome, roughly near about 4,000 people from Italy, Spain, so this is first strong evidence find that there is some gene alteration of that virus. So there is some kind of differences in their genomic sequence, which make some viruses very fatal, or another all other people to know who is infected in surrounding you, so that you can keep safe distance. But it's not possible in India, because if like I heard some news, and I saw also in news that if someone get infected, other people teach like she or he just came from any other planet or something. No, people just ignoring them. Don't do this. Just be safe and help them to get recover. Or if you have something like if you have contact with other person, just stay home for 14 days at least, and don't infect other people. So now the what current research is going on in COVID-19. So first billion-dollar question is, what about the vaccine? So there are currently near about 200 vaccine is under development worldwide, and with around 20 clinical trials it going on, and large scale efficacy trials to be but there are already some clues that the animal study, that early stage of human trial and mainly testing safely. So some monkey studies also reported that this some vaccine plays a good job to prevent the lung infection, and resulting the totally remove the pneumonia part. But the problem is this vaccine cannot stop spreading the virus from nose. So other study data from human suggested that COVID-19, the vaccine, which is ongoing in clinical trial, is prompted in our body and make potentially neutralizing antibody that can block the virus from infecting cell. So, but these things are going on. So now the biggest question is, when we will have a vaccine? So the obvious answer to this question would be when a candidate vaccine is demonstrated to be safe, effective, and available, that can be determined only by the scientific data, not by any targeted calendar date. So here we reveals the most people, and most people means almost all the people from the world want to know much more about the estimated vaccine delivery date. Their inquiry typically in three concerns. First is when will be the public able to have that confidence that their vaccine is safe or effective. Second was when will a vaccine will be available to people, and third one when the vaccine uptake be high enough to able to return pre-pandemic condition. The recently released guideline from the Food and Drug Administrator on testing of COVID-19 vaccine, and indicating that no compromise will be made with when it comes evaluating to safety and efficacy. In the second key part of this question pertain that to when a safe and efficacious COVID-19 vaccine will become available to some, most of all people who want one. That means this question has technical and moral components, and the answer on both front could foster in public acceptance of the vaccine. So some data from testing suggested that 90% of the people are susceptible to COVID-19, accepting that 60 to 70% among that population would have been immuno either by a natural infection or they have like asymptomatic condition. So releasing expert committee reports, some scientists, so they they said that it should not be equated with successfully communicating with the public about the vaccine candidate and availability. So high uptake of COVID-19 vaccine among the group should also not be assumed.
Now let me invite the,
Yeah, thank you so much.
yes sir.
Yeah, if anyone have question, I can answer it.
Sir, our question answer session is scheduled for later, so we can see any question directed for you right now. If there's any question for you later, we will send it you by email and forward your answer to the participant, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now we are going to introduce our guest, Dr. Rajendra Singh Rajput. Professor Dr. Rajendra Singh Rajput is involved in teaching and training in community health since 1992. Presently, he is principal, professor, and head of the Department of Community Medicine and Psychology at Government SDJH Medical College and Hospital, Azamgarh, Uttar Pradesh, providing consultancy, training, monitoring, IAC development, curriculum designing and development to various universities, government departments, NGOs, CBOs, UN organizations, youth organizations on various broad spectrum issues like growth and development, MCAH, ARSH, HIV, etc. Dr. Rajput has a flair for writing. He keeps on writing articles, features to print and electronic media. He has 8 books, numerous articles, papers, monographs, concept notes, and vision documents on community health, mental health, psychology, and medical issues to his credit. He has been awarded prestigious American Excellence Award for Holistic Medicine and Community Health. He has also received the President of India's award for his acumen of social service in adolescence. He has been master trainer on de-addiction counseling, psychological first aid, suicide prevention and crisis intervention, family life education, sexuality education to the UN organization, Government of India's Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Youth Affairs. He is a recognized guide, mentor, and supervisor. He has been keynote speaker and chairperson to various world congresses and international conferences. Sir, we are really obliged to have you with us today. I would request you now to take over the platform. Over to you, sir. Sir, are you here? Sir, are you here? Please unmute yourself, sir. Sir? Sir, are you here? Please unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, now I'm audible.
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay, my screen is visible now.
No, sir.
It's not visible.
No,
Okay,
sir.
just a moment. Okay, now the permission is not coming. That is the Windows shows share your entire screen. Then share option is not coming. Hello.
Sir, I think you need to click on the screen, then the share option will appear.
My screen is already on, ma'am. I have displayed my PPT. Yeah, now it is visible. No.
Oh, no, sir.
Not yet, sir.
Okay, but let me try again. I did this present now. Now your entire screen. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello,
No,
sir. Hello,
no,
sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Sir, at first you have to
Yeah.
present your screen, sir.
Yeah.
First,
Okay. I
at first you
presented
have
it.
to present. No, sir. It cannot present it. It can
Okay.
present
Okay.
it.
Just
Sir, at first
okay.
you please.
Just
present
let me
your
know.
screen.
Just let me know. I'm following the procedure. You just let me know, please. Yeah. Now I presented the screen.
No, sir. It can't visible.
So what to do now? Because the window says share and cancel. Two options are there, but share is not activated.
Sir, there is an option which is present now.
Yeah, I did that. I did that.
Right side of your screen.
Correct. I did this. I did that. Present now I did. Okay. Hello, Parth.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. But we can't visible.
Then the scroll says your entire screen, Windows and Chrome tab. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Then I did your entire screen. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But
Yeah,
it
I
can't.
did it.
We can't see your skin.
Okay. Then in that condition, what to do?
Sir, I think you need to click on the screen you want to share that is appearing on the
Plus,
your
sir,
present
sir,
now option.
at first, sir, you have to
Yeah.
select your screen, sir. First, you have to select your screen.
Okay. Then we should start with this message. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Now it's visible and I am audible.
You are audible, but sir, your screen is not visible.
Okay, just now somebody told me that it is visible.
No, sir, it is not visible.
Okay, but just now somebody told me. Okay.
Yes.
Just let me see.
Your entire screen, your name, and yeah, you are presenting your screen.
So what the status? Now stop presenting. I did. Again, I'm trying with present screen. Start presenting. Start now. Is it visible?
Yes, yes, it is visible.
Okay. So can I start now?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Right. Thank you very much
Sir.
for being with me on this session. And I'm sure with this little bit time which has been allotted to me is running short, but I would like to sum up all the things in very rational way. So let me introduce myself first. I'm Dr. Rajan Singh, basically working as a professor in community medicine, and I have a lot of interest which you have seen in my short bio sketch. Today's topic is telehealth care or telemedicine, its scope and limitation. So I hope, I'm very sure that everybody of us is well known to the term health. But let me define it scientifically. Actually, World Health Organization says that health is a state of complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being, not merely absence of any disease or infirmity. It simply means if you don't have any disease, or if you don't have any symptom, it means you are healthy? No. It means that you have to be in a state of well-being, as physical being, as psychological being, as social being, as a spiritual being, as economical being. All in all, we can say that if you are a fully functioning, socially fully functioning person, it means you are a healthy. So telehealthcare means how from a distance you can maintain your physical body, mind, spirit, social aspects, and your economic aspect and everything, so that you can remain healthy. So in today's lecture we will understand what telehealthcare is, and then in spite of your best efforts, if you happen to be ill or diseased, then how you will access the healthcare provider or a doctor without visiting him physically. So this is what telemedicine is, and this is in fact a boon of modern technology, that in spite of visiting physically to a doctor, we can ask him, we can present our complaints, we can have medication for ourselves, and we can get rid or we can get cure of our diseases. So the topic of means the objective of today's session is uh, basically I put it the title as a scope and limitation of telehealthcare and telemedicine. So I have four major objectives to be discussed with you all. Number one is to understand the applied approach to telemedicine, means how much this technology can help us and what is the limitation of this technology. Number 2, 3, 4 are very dear to my heart because I work on this only, to understand community approach to sustainable healthcare. See, nowadays and in the present scenario of COVID and thereafter, or like COVID, there may be so many terrorist attack on us. Tomorrow, one bacteria, virus, or some new thing will come upon. So for that thing, we have to get prepared, because for disaster preparedness, for disaster mitigation, and for fighting with such kind of situation, the Indian community doesn't have a in-hand exposure. In fact, they are not ready, and even not government, not an individual, not organizations as before COVID has thought about the situation like this, that you will be locked down, you will be inside the house for long days, and you are not interacting with people, you are not going out, you are not having job. So such a crisis situation, how to handle it peacefully, calmly, and with maintaining law and order and supporting to the government, supporting to the existing administration. This has never been told to us, and this is our first hand experience with COVID. So in future there may be some other trending diseases like this, so we have to be careful. So that's why the second objective is to understand the community approach to sustainable healthcare, means without support of anyone, how we can sustain our health and remain healthy for a long time. The next objective is to reduce institutional load
for prevention and control of disease. Once you understand that how I can take good care of myself, what are the devices available, what are the gadgets available, what are the tools available onto the internet platform, which can I use for maintaining my physical health, maintaining my psychological health, maintaining my spiritual health, or my internal transformation. I'm sure you people must be aware about, there are so many exercises app. There are so many exercise app available on the Google App platform. You can download them. You can do regular exercise with them, obesity reduction, weight management, height increasement. There are so many other physical exercise and other physical apps are there. Then there are apps for yoga and meditation. There are apps for emotional management. There is apps for your daily routine charting. So there are so many apps which can be used by you. So if we can take good care of ourselves, definitely we don't need a hospitalization, or we don't need a institutionalized care. We can take good care of ourselves at home only, and each individual can take their care of their health. In that condition, no need to visit a hospital unless until there is some emergency or some accident or some kind of dreadful disorder is there. So this way we can reduce the institutional load, because we know in India that our existing healthcare delivery system doesn't have that kind of facility that each and every Indian citizen has access to the healthcare. So this is my third objective. The fourth one is to promote health-seeking behavior. To promote health-seeking behavior means basically we have to bring about certain changes into our health, in our behavior, so that we can practice healthy behaviors and we can remain healthy. So for taking charge of yourself, what you should do? First thing, knowledge means you have a lot of information, but this information has to be a informed information, means you have to be a informed choices, that these are the information available, what are the healthy choices I can take. This knowledge you must have. Then if you have this knowledge, definitely you will remain active and healthy. If you remain active and healthy, definitely you will be having a better health, and you can avoid diseases very easily. And if you practice this changed behavior, definitely if you are practicing healthy lifestyle, you can change your belief system. If you can means adjust with the new normals, definitely you will be healthy. So what are the factors which influences our health? Everybody know that our family history, whatever our family has diseases in past, or our parents or our grandparents or our maternal or paternal side, whatever diseases are there, definitely they have to be in us, and that is what genetic influence is. Then our mental status like stress, anxiety, tension, all these affect our health. Then our social pressure, societal pressure, then social norms, values, then our culture. The culture also has a deep impact on health of an individual, like what type of food we take, the practice of having alcohol, physical inactivity, etc., or the existing disease. If we have obesity, if we have diabetes mellitus, if we have thyroid problem, PCOD, COPD, whatever we have. So if we have a history of all these, definitely our health is being affected. The next slide shows that what is the correlation between the agent, which are disease causing agent, and host means we ourselves and our significant other people who are living together with us, and our surrounding or the environment. So in the community in which we live, what I mean to say is health is not only dependent on ourselves, it is dependent on significant others who are around you. Maybe your family members, maybe your friends, maybe your peer groups, maybe your relatives, maybe your people who are a part of your day-to-day life. These all can cause disease, and they if they are careful, if they are aware, definitely you will also remain healthy. The next slide shows the human body energy clock. This is basically a biorhythm. It's a kind of a internal clock which is known as biological clock inside the body. So according to that, how you have to lead your life, like if you say I am waking at 5 o'clock, so after waking at 5 o'clock, that is basically a time for large intestine. So what you are doing, you have to take almost 500 milliliter of water lukewarm water in the morning so that your guts can be cleaned very nicely. You have to go for a brisk walk. You have to not to take caffeine or tea in that hours, because your body needs more water, and healthy colon has to be maintained that way. So during 5 to 7, these are the activity. Then 7 to 9 is the time for stomach. Then 9 to 11 is for spleen. Then 11 to 1 p.m. the heart is working. This is basically a biorhythmic um, system of mechanism. 1 to 3, your small intestine are working. From 3 to 5, your bladder is working. Then 5 to 7, your kidneys are working. This way, actually, if you know this body clock, definitely at what time, what you should eat, what activity you should perform, this you will come to know. And if you know this, definitely you will be following a better lifestyle, and you will remain healthy. Now, let me come to my first objective, that is what telemedicine is. Telemedicine is basically use of technology that enables remote healthcare. Remote healthcare, as I told you earlier into the introduction, that you don't have to visit physically to a healthcare provider or to a doctor, and from distance you can take a treatment. You can understand your disease. You can follow the diet and regime. You can follow the advice of the doctor, or you can go for a suggestive blood test or examination or whatever. So basically, it's an opportunity for the physician to treat the patient whenever needed and wherever the patient is. If you see scientifically, the definition of telemedicine is, it refers to the use of information technologies and electronic communications to provide remote clinical services to the patient. Patient is not present in front of a doctor, but he can take access to all the vital parameters of the patient. He can take access of the problems, what are the presenting complaint, what is the past complaint, what is the history of the disease, or what is the history of the problem. Then the digital transmission of medical imaging, remote medical diagnosis and evaluation, and video consultation, all this is basically example of telemedicine. So this is not that way ki, you can consult to the doctor only. You can send your images, your reports, your digital x-ray, your digital lab reports, anything can be transmitted. So this is basically a system of information technology, where you are using electronic communication from a remote location to your health hub or healthcare provider. There are two terms which comes simultaneously. One is known as telehealth, and other is telemedicine. Telehealth is a big thing, which is Government of India is also working through electronic digital record or electronic health record, that is known as EHR. If you are interested into knowing more about digital health, you can visit digital.gov.in. So any government site or mygov, mygovernment.in, mygov, mygov.in. So you can come across so many important techniques, and there are very small tools in which you can save your medical reports, your medical visits, your medical findings. You can save there, and that will be in digital locker, and that you can transmit it to, you can transfer it, you can send to your doctor or to various doctors for consultation. So you may can make better use of that platform. If you say types of telemedicine, so there are three types of telemedicine basically. One is sorry, store and forward. Next is remote monitoring and real-time interactive services. Uh, all of these have a different type of utility. Means whenever the situation demands, we can use that type of. One which is very prominent in COVID-like situation is real-time telemedicine, or this is basically a live telemedicine. Makes it easy happen to doctor-patient relationship and visit anytime, anywhere. And live telemedicine includes basically a two-way communication, in which you need a hub for that. So you need a health hub, like we have in our some of the national institute, like All India Institute of Medical Sciences and other premier institutes of India. They have a telemedicine hub where the doctor and team of experts is sitting, and you have a telemedicine relay center at a PHC or community health center. From there you can go and you can consult to any expert in all over India. So this is basically live telemedicine. uh, if you say how we can go for telehealth or telemedicine, it's very simple. You can use your smartphone or your tablet or anything. There are some apps also which is very easily available, which is known as telehealth, teletransmitter, telemedicine care. All these names of apps are there. You can find so many there. So you can have download one, or if your government provides this telemedicine apps, you can download them. You can follow the instruction, and this way you can connect to your medical hub, medical center, and you can ask for your queries and your problems. Like during COVID-19, we have developed certain app. One is Ayush Kavach, in which we have all kind of tele-counseling facilities, in which anybody can call us, ask for help, ask for treatment, medication, we suggest it, and we do psychological counseling also. So that may be a video call, that may be a audio call, whatever way means available can be done. So what you need of basically hardware which are being used in telemedicine consultation. One is known as cards. Cards is basically a designed program for telemedicine. Otherwise, you can use simply whatever I said, apps for your laptop or desktop or mobiles or tablets. Cards are basically especially designed for the institutions, in which everything is there. Once you have to register it, then you have a login ID. Then again, whenever you want, you can log in into the cart and you can send your reports and everything, and you can consult to your doctor or physician. So this is basically one of the very important aspect of telemedicine, that it is very tangible. It has so many benefits. If we talk about benefit part, on the part of the patient, you can have within less time, within your work period, you can consult to your doctor. No travel expenses or travel time is required. Less interference with children, elderly care responsibilities. Means if you want to visit a healthcare delivery institution, definitely you have to visit there. So whosoever, if you're living alone, then in that condition, if you have a child or if you have elderly people to care at home, it's difficult for you to shoulder the responsibilities to some other people. One important aspect for the patient is this is very good in privacy and safety. So no exposure to the potentially contagious patients. Also, if you visit a healthcare facility, definitely there are chances of hospital-borne infections. So this way, you can avoid this kind of contagious disease also. So for the provider, it increases the revenue, it improves office efficiency, it has a competitive means upper hand. Then we have no missed appointment. We can means data collection for further research. We can do it. So telemedicine has a lot of scopes. Basically, it require little practice or little, you can say, training for operating any telemedicine device or any telemedicine app. It's very simple. If you are talking about individual or personal healthcare, they are very safe, they are very easy to operate. And even the biggest thing is you can put each and every health record or data of yours into that health record system. And that is, if you are 60 plus, or if you are 70 plus, or in fact you are 50 plus, or you are suffering from multiple diseases or multiple disorders together. So in that condition, this electronic health record is very helpful to you. Anytime if some emergency occurs, you don't need to carry your all files to the doctor or to the healthcare provider. You simply give your EHR, or you share your EHR with that doctor or consultant. All complete report of yourself, means of you, along with your all parameters and every history, everything will be transferred to the doctor. And doctor sitting at that healthcare setting or healthcare hub, he will assess you completely before you reach there. If in the case of emergency, before you reach there, everything is known to the doctor, to the consultant, to the medical specialist. And this way, it is a life-saving activity. If you don't have, by chance, it should not happen, but by chance it happens that you have a severe angina or you have a heart attack, there is no time. It's a golden period of life to save. So rushingly, if people around you or if your family members know they have maintained EHR, they can just transfer it to the medical consultant. In the meantime, whenever you are reaching to the healthcare setup, all your records will be there, and they are aware that what to do with you and how to save your life. Along with boons of technology, there are certain limitations also, that in case of chronic disease, we only cannot manage with telemedicine. The person has to approach to the or reach to the doctor, so that better medical decision can be taken, whether to go for medication or surgery or some other kind of intervention is needed. In that condition, this is the limitation. Then there are certain post hospitalization care is also there. If you have gone for surgery or some medical intervention has been done, or cardiology has been done, or some renal transplant has been done, in that condition you need to visit the doctor. Yes, of course, for preventive care, it can be used very well. For school-based healthcare or school healthcare, it can be used very well. Then, if we have assisted living center support, like if there is some kind of cancer, or some palliative care center is there, or some rehabilitation center is there, in these centers telemedicine can works wonder, because if somebody is suffering from terminal illness, and he needs constant medical support or guidance, in that condition definitely he can utilize the telemedicine hub, and that way he can take good care of his health. These are certain references which I have taken, and if you want to know more about this, you can visit to these sites. And this way I came to the end of my session. I don't know, because this is first time I'm presenting with this mobile, so I don't know how much I was able to deliver. But once again, thank you very much, the organizers, for giving me this opportunity to talk on this rare issue. Thank you once again. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hi,
Yeah.
thank you, sir. Your lecture has so effectively shown us what the need and also the future of medical science in real life practice are going to be like. Thank you so much for this valuable insight.
Thank you very much, beta. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now let me hand over the microphone to Ms. Panchali Roy, Head of the Department of Physics, and also the one of the conveners of this webinar, to continue with the sessions. Over to you, Panchali.
Thank you, Poshali, for introducing me. Now, please allow me to call upon our next speaker for the day, Dr. Shubir Mukhopadhyay, sir. But before that, let me introduce this distinguished speaker to our audience. Dr. Shubir Mukhopadhyay, sir, has completed his MSc in Physics from University of Calcutta and completed his PhD from Shah Institute of Nuclear Physics in 1998. After that, he was in IOP, Bhubaneswar, Stockholm University, Sweden, and University of Massachusetts in US. And finally, he joined the Physics Department of Sikkim University in 2009. Presently, he is working as an associate professor in Sikkim University. Besides all the success, I know him personally as my teacher during my MSc. He is a great teacher and human being also. Words will not be sufficient to introduce him, so let's not waste the time and call sir. Sir, please take the platform and enlighten us with your speech. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Panchali. Am I audible?
Thank you so much. Yes, sir, you are audible. Sir, after a very long time, I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy, really happy.
Okay, just one moment. Let me
Yeah.
turn on the screen. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, so thank you, Konchali. And let me begin by profusely thanking the organizers for giving me this opportunity to speak in this international webinar, Role of Science and Technology During COVID-19 Pandemic Perspective Analysis. It's really a privilege for me. The title of my talk will be COVID-19, Role of Nanotechnology and Artificial Intelligence. This is the rough outline of my talk. I will begin with an introduction. Then I will talk about nanotechnology and artificial intelligence. What are the roles that they are playing in fighting with this COVID-19? Then I'll talk about Indian initiatives, and finally I will conclude. So this is the introduction. Larry Brilliant, he was an epidemiologist, and he's actually famous for his fight for eradicating the smallpox from the earth. In an interview in perhaps 2006, he warned that it's not a question of whether, it's rather a matter of when we'll face a pandemic. He was an advisor of this 2011 Hollywood blockbuster movie Contagion. Okay. Many of you may have watched it. That also foretells much of what we're seeing around us today. On 31st December 2019, reports of a pneumonic fever of unknown origin was sent to World Health Organizations from Wuhan, China. We all know about it actually by now. And subsequently, World Health Organization declared that this infectious agent is an RNA virus of the family Coronaviridae. Then officially it was named as SARS-CoV-2 and informally called novel coronavirus. This virus causes a completely new respiratory disease, COVID-19. Dr. Chakraborty has already told us a lot about it. And today COVID-19 has spread all over the world. Millions of people are dying. The number of active cases are shooting up. There are lockdowns in many places, huge disruptions of the normal functioning. Almost every nation is facing severe economic crisis, as we have seen in our earlier speakers' talks, mass unemployment, disruption of livelihoods. The question is, in this fight with COVID-19, how science and technology can contribute. It has come up with various strategies of this early detection, slowing down the spread, effective treatment, living with it till we get the vaccine, and finally stop this menace. We have already heard from Professor Chakraborty about the contributions of biology, and Professor Rajput from about these contributions of this telemedicine and telehealth. So in my talk, I will focus on two more areas of science and technology. One is nanotechnology and another is artificial intelligence and machine learning. Of course, there are many other areas of the science and technology which are really contributing to this fight. Okay, so let me begin with nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is a field of research and innovation which concerned with building things on the scale of nanometer. It's very small. It deals with the things which are very small. How small? A nanometer is 1 billionth of a meter. And if we want to have an idea by comparing with the small things that we see around, the diameter of a human hair is 80,000 nanometers. And nanometer is also 10 times the diameter of a hydrogen atom. Usually the things whose length scale ranges from 1 to 100 nanometer comes under this nanomaterials. So how this nanotechnology can really help with this fight? I will focus on 3 key stages, but actually there are many others. So I will focus on these 3 key stages where this nanotechnology can be useful to fight with this COVID-19. First one is, it can provide us an alternative to disinfectants, slowing the virus spread. Second one is in diagnostic procedure. And third one is delivering drugs to those already infected. Of course, there are many more, as I said. So we'll restrict ourselves to these 3 stages. First one is slowing the spread. These metallic nanoparticles such as silver, copper, and zinc, they show intrinsic antimicrobial properties. Okay. In fact, this antiviral efficiency of silver nanoparticles, it has been demonstrated against a variety of viruses, including HIV-1. In 1970, copper was found to be effective against polio. So now the question is how they can help us to fight this COVID-19. As Dr. Abhijit has mentioned, one of the key factors in spreading of this COVID-19 is its hardiness and ability to survive on a variety of surfaces for a prolonged period, often days on end. And that is one of the way rather the disease spreads. Now, if the surfaces are coated with polymers containing nanoparticles of metals, such as copper, then what it does is that it releases metal ions. And these metal ions have the antiviral activity. They disrupt the operations of the cells of this virus, and then the virus cannot survive. In fact, these copper alloys, they have already been proved to be very useful in the context of this HUCOV229E virus. This virus typically lives for around 6 days on a surface. But if you have a surface which is coated with copper alloys, it becomes inactive in approximately 60 minutes. The similarity between this HUCOV229E and SARS-CoV-2 virus points that these copper nanoparticles and alloys can be very useful to slow this spread. Of course, there are other ways. We already know that there are chemicals can be used as disinfectants, but they have toxic properties. And the non-toxic disinfectant measures are there, as Dr. Abhijit already mentioned, using the irradiation with ultraviolet light, but these nanoparticles and alloys are actually safer compared to them, and also it's more convenient. In fact, if this material can be structured in such a way that the release of ions is gradual, so it's gradually release the ions, then that nanomaterial coating can provide protection continuously. So you don't have to recoat it or keep on spraying it. And these technologies are already in practice. Nanomaterials are employed in the production of PPE to help reduce the spread of COVID-19 to frontline medical workers. And in the case of when it comes to this PPE, then the most effective, it turns out to be the silver nanoparticles instead of copper. In fact, IIT Guwahati researchers, they have developed an affordable antimicrobial spray-based coating for PPE. Okay, that spray uses actually nanoparticle cocktails which consist of copper, silver, and other active ingredients. There is a company, NanoShell of India. They have also developed nano silver coated face masks for anti-COVID-19. There is an Israeli startup company, Sonomask. They have developed nanotech masks and robes which are resistant to bacteria and fungi. And it's also claimed that that can work against the virus. So that kind of concludes our discussions of how nanotechnology can be used to slow the spread, and there are of course many more. We can go to then the next stage. We cannot eliminate this SARS-CoV-2 virus from all surfaces, even if you use this spreading and coating, etc. Because not all surfaces can be coated with a nanomaterial. So the next thing, as our previous speakers has pointed out, is one needs a quick and effective diagnosis. Of course, there are various diagnosis processes, and this nanotechnology can help there as well. We roughly all heard about it, that how this current testing methodology for COVID-19 works. Okay, you have to have use of a swab applied to the throat and nasal passages of a potential patient, and then, as my earlier speakers has already mentioned, you use this RT-PCR test, which is to identify whether it has a specific RNA or not. The use of nanoparticle, however, can provide us a more immediate on-site test result. Okay, how this works? This is the principle. Of course, it is in its very early planning stage. It makes use of the binding of gold nanoparticles with antibodies. Now, in the antibodies collected from the patient, if this patient has already been infected with this virus, then this body will produce antibodies. So, in presence of these antibodies, what happens is this nanoparticles cluster, and if the antibody is not there, the color of the solutions will be blue, but if there is an antibody, then because of this clustering, the color will change from blue to red. And this provides an immediate indications of the infection. And as you can see, that a test of this nature could be of particular use in developed countries such as us, or in the regions where not much medical facilities are available. Another alternative that we can get from the nanotechnology is the graphene-based field effect transistor. So graphene is a well-known nanomaterial. It consists of single layer of atoms arranged in a two-dimensional honeycomb lattice. So as you can see, it's extremely thin because it just consists of a single layer of atoms, carbon atoms. And this graphene typically produces a sensor that has a very high sensitivity, because the electrical properties of this graphene is very different. So that's why it can be used to produce a highly sensitive sensor. And of course, it will be small because graphene itself is extremely thin. And how the sensor works? One has to manufacture a FET, which is called field effect transistor. So we don't have to get into the details of it, but basically all the transistors are basically amplifier. Okay. So what one has to do is that it will have this gate source, and drain. So these are the three electrodes through which this current will enter in this instrument. And what happens is that we can, if we change this, the potential between gate and source, and then we look at the source and drain, we can see some kind of amplification. So that's how basically it works. Now, to be compatible with the SARS-CoV-2 strain of the virus, the surface of the graphene sheet has to be functionalized with the SARS-CoV-2 antibodies. And once that is done, what happens is that when this comes in the contact with the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein, then its electrical, the electrical feature of this graphene will change. And as soon as it changes, one can easily find it from this output of this graphene-based FET. And this is also very cost-effective and can deliver a very rapid result. Third one is these nanoparticles can also play a role to deactivate the SARS-CoV-2 in patients. As we have already heard from our earlier speakers, that though other organs can be affected, the main target of this COVID-19 is the respiratory system. And in particular, this virus targets the upper respiratory tract and the lungs. And so therefore, researchers are focusing on methods that seek to inactivate the virus in the deep lung. Airborne nanomaterial can penetrate this deep lung, delivering medicine directly to the cells that SARS-CoV-2 uses to spread further into a patient's system. Nanomedicine is currently being heavily researched in terms of providing drugs and using beneficial proteins via aerosol nano devices. There are many other applications. Dr. Vijita also mentioned that how this nano technology is playing a role in developing the vaccine and drugs. So this nanotech advancement that has been described, this has been, of course, engineered in response to this current crisis, but they are designed by the scientists with an eye to the future and the next potential pandemics. Okay, so we'll be ready. We'll be more ready compared to this one if something comes again. Our next topic is artificial intelligence. So, Professor Rajput has already mentioned, like using this telemedicine and telehealth, how this kind of technology, all these computers and internets can help the patients. The artificial intelligence also in the same track. What is artificial intelligence? It's an intelligence demonstrated by a machine. Okay, machine are usually, of course, not intelligent, but one can say that any device that perceives its environment and take actions to successfully achieving its goals, that machine will say have. So as we see, then this artificial intelligence that requires data. Okay, without the data, it cannot work. World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the United States, they are receiving data of several diseases and situations. Professor Rajput has also explained to us that how the data associated with different kinds of diseases through this telemedicine and telehealth all can be stored. Okay. So once we have this huge, enormous amount of data, and this artificial intelligence can also get data from other sources. So once we get all these data can be accessed by different institutes all over the world. Then they can develop the models for this artificial intelligence. Apart from that, apart from direct health-related data, information can also be gathered from news outlets, forums, healthcare reports, travel data, social media posts, and others, and in multiple languages all over the world. Of course, as we can see now, because of this huge activity. A lot of patient data is being stored, and it's actually difficult to analyze these records and determine a solution to curb the virus with so many data, with so many complex data. Okay, so there are actually these big data analytics, that is another techniques in the software that comes in. That's another kind of algorithm, okay, which deals with this large or complex sets of data. And they have been tuned to do that, and they're a more efficient manner compared to this traditional data processing application software. And so this can analyze these data sets and identify patterns that can help in COVID-19 detection and recovery. Let's see how it has really worked all over the world. This Toronto-based Canadian software company, Blue Dot, they have detected some unusual pneumonia cases in Wuhan, China in December 2019. They did it by using their algorithms that pull data from a variety of sources. And then this algorithm, they analyze the data from health records, airline ticketing data, government notices, news reports, and disease networks. And as the claim is, this Blue Dot spotted this COVID-19 9 days before the WHO released its statement, okay, alerting people to the emergence of a novel coronavirus. This Blue Dot also claims that they have successfully detected the outbreak of Zika virus in Florida in 2016, and that is also 6 months before the official report, just by using this artificial intelligence. In fact, using this airline ticketing data, Blue Dot was able to predict the spread of COVID-19 from Wuhan to the other Asian cities. They have also used the mobile phone data and the location statistics to track how this virus might spread. And as my earlier speakers has already mentioned, that by utilizing this location data on the smartphones, people can be alerted whether someone is being exposed to the virus. In fact, a team at Southern Illinois University, they have developed a data visualization tool that uses GPS, ground positioning system data, to alert users about locations of the COVID-19 cases. And several AI-based computer vision camera systems are also deployed in China and in across the world. I think in India also it has been started to scan crowds for COVID-19 symptoms and monitor people during the lockdown. So from this huge information that has been stored in various forms, this artificial intelligence can prepare data sets for models. And these models can predict possible hotspots and warn the healthcare authorities beforehand. Here is an example. Artificial intelligence can analyze disease data and information about senior citizens who are at risk of getting infected by coronavirus, let's say. These algorithms and tool can track those people, and they can track those people down to the pin code level, okay? And keeping in mind, they can also take care of the fact that what are these obesity factors and diabetes. And that way, these analysis reports can suggest the healthcare centers and the hospitals that what kind of additional medical facilities, such as beds or other, that will be required in the coming days. Okay, there are a few more cases where this artificial intelligence has really shown some success. One is these researchers from Huazhong University of Science and Technology, and another, and Tongji Hospitals in Wuhan. They have developed an AI diagnostic tool The name is XGBoost machine, XGBoost machine learning based prognostic model. This can quickly analyze the blood samples to predict survival rates of COVID-19 infected patients. And the claim is that it turns out to be 90% accurate. Similarly, researchers at the Chan Zuckerberg Biohub in California, they have developed new methods to quantify the number of COVID-19 infections that go undetected because of the mutation, because the virus mutates as it spreads to the population. And they said that they can actually give the data, like how many infections has go undetected by this usual, otherwise conventional method. Google DeepMind. So Google has developed this DeepMind, which uses this artificial intelligence system along with this big data analytics, and is trying to understand the virus by analyzing its characteristics. And this will help doctors to develop drugs and the treatment plans. Okay, so now I will briefly mention the Indian initiatives on this COVID-19 research. On the Indian side as well, initiatives on COVID-19 research have been taken up very quickly. And we all know that this National Informatics Center, they have developed a mobile app, Arogya Setu, for contact tracing and self-assessment, and the app reached more than 100 million installs in 40 days. Professor Rajput has also told us that there are various other this kind of methods and appliances by which it can really help for the public health. We have already mentioned IIT Guwahati researchers, they developed affordable antimicrobial coating for this PPE using nanoparticles. Indian scientific organization like DST, Department of Science and Technology, and often these mutations reduce the harmfulness of the virus by reducing its infectivity or the capacity to cause death. The reason could be, there may be a more better reason which from the point of view of biology and medicine, that the virus cannot live by itself as it needs a viable host. If the host dies, the virus also dies. So whether these mutations will mitigate the harmfulness of this virus that causes this COVID-19. This is my, you might say, the second question. My previous speakers have also pointed out that this kind of virus is not new. In fact, epidemiological data suggests that these coronavirus strains can date back as far back as 5000 BC or even earlier. Then a natural question is, why are these outbreaks occurring at this particular period? Does it have anything to do with this increasing technological advancement of the human race? Does it have anything to do with the changing ecology? Of course, if we know the answer, that will help us to deal more effectively with this kind of crisis. At the end, COVID-19 has presented the scientific community with the kind of challenge we have perhaps never had to face before, but it also has created the awareness that this situation could arise again. The global pandemic leads to the realization that we need to promote the scientific culture and temperament. It is essential towards tackling any such pandemic in the future. So it turns out that ours is quite fragile. And these policymakers throughout the globe, they should prioritize health. They should prioritize promotion of a better scientific environment and practice, both financially as well as intellectually. Okay, and then I would like to end with that perhaps it gives us a message that this human race is capable of presenting such a united front against a crisis in spite of the geographical, racial, and religious borders. With a species so determined to persist, perhaps a minuscule virus won't be able to defeat us so easily. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful lecture. I think it reminds me for my MSc classes. So this lecture has been a really enlightening one. So we will come back to you for the question answer session later. So sir, thank you once again for the brilliant lecture.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now let me invite the next resource person for today's webinar, Dr. Abhishek Shankar, to deliver his lecture. Dr. Abhishek Shankar is an MBBS, MD in Radiation Oncology, CPFP, Cancer Prevention Fellow, USA. He is an assistant professor by designation in the Department of Radiation Oncology, Lady Hardinge Medical College and SSK Hospital, Delhi. Directorate General of Health Services, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. He did his MBBS in the year 1999 from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Medical Science, Wardha, Maharashtra, and MD in Radiation Oncology in the year 2009 from Christian Medical College, Ludhiana, Punjab. Sir has wonderful work experience in many renowned institutions since the year of 2005 till date. Presently, he is the founder and chief coordinator of Pink Chain Campaign, which is nationwide cancer awareness campaign to create a chain awareness among people, that is students, corporate sectors, general masses, etc. regarding breast cancer and other cancers like lung cancer, oral cancer, and cervical cancer. Also, he is the founder secretary of Indian Society of Clinical Oncology. He has almost 49 publications in various renowned national and international journals, has published 20 abstract papers, authored and co-authored many books. Few to name like Longevity, Pink Chain Campaign, Breast Cancer Information Booklet, and many more. He has also undertaken many research projects as chief investigator or co-investigator. Sir has been concluding numerous teaching programs, has presented many papers in national and international level as well, published numerous news articles. He has many blogs in his name like the ecancer.org, medlarch.com, and many more. Sir has been bestowed with many honors, awards, and fellowships. Few to mention like ESMO Travel Fellowship for Symposium on Immuno-Oncology, Geneva, Switzerland in November 2014. Global Mentorship Award by International Agency for Study on Lung Cancer, IASLC in 2017, and many more. Words will not be sufficient to mention all the wonderful work he has done for the society and success achieved by him. So we are truly grateful to have such an eminent personality among us today. Sir, please take over the platform. Over to you, sir. Sir, please unmute yourself. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Can you?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's audible.
Okay. My screen is visible to you all. My screen is visible to you all.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Can you see the first slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and it's always very nice to speak to students, and it's because they are the one who will come forward in the future to take care of the front seat for the cancer research. So I will be speaking very general about the cancer care and research in pandemic and beyond. And I will not be sticking to this particular topic, and I will be talking about my experience and how youth should be more involved in cancer research, cancer care, cancer awareness, and every part of the cancer which is reaching to the society. So as far as this presentation is concerned, I have no conflict of interest to show. So coming to the coronavirus disease 19, as everybody now feel very familiar to the coronavirus disease because you hear so many things every day. In the starting April, people were very fearful, but now this fear has gone too. So everybody is busy in their own life. Researcher has many bigger responsibility to come up with something new which can help the mankind in a larger extent. So being a researcher, you know more than about the characteristic of this coronavirus disease. So this is a bit of generic coronavirus. It's spread by droplet, but now it say that it has an aerosol transmission. Risk increases after 40, which is more and severe. Initially, when the data came from the Italy, it was told that it is a disease of the elderly people. But nowadays, nobody can see when you see so many young people around you are dying because of coronavirus disease. So the more you read, more you are confused. So there is no such theory that who will survive, who will do better with disease. But certainly, if you're having comorbidities, your chances of dying are more in comparison to the people who are with no comorbidities. So mortality, generally you say it's lessened. So what is the stage? There's so much debate that whether India is in community transmission or no. And people always, government has not accepted that we are in community transmission. So these are the stages. When you say community transmission, that means the people, you are infected, your source of contagion is not known. So probably we now see many of the people who are not aware from where they have acquired the disease. So certainly, yes, for the scientific point of view, as for the definition, we are in community transmission, and many of the places, they have full-blown epidemic where health system has collapsed and people are just waiting for hours to get the bed, and many people have died waiting for their admission to the hospital. So transmission, as we are well aware that the ICMR has reported that 80% people are asymptomatic in a country like India. It was as high as 50% in China when they reported it. So because contagion metric is very high for the coronavirus disease, if you say clinical characteristic, the people who comes with the symptoms, the fever, dry cough, respiratory distress, GI symptom, but I can say many of the people come with very unusual symptom which is not explained in the literature. So this is a very unpredictable disease with a very unusual presentation, but yes, most of the people are asymptomatic and they don't have any symptom, and they are tested because somebody in their family are showing symptoms. So just to trace the contact, they get their test done and they are found positive. So diagnosis, RT-PCR, IgM antibody, I don't need to discuss it in detail because you people are well aware about this. Coming to the treatment, no treatment has significantly helped us to decrease the mortality from this coronavirus disease. So many of the combinations alone, disease has been used, like convalescent plasma, chloroquine. There is so much of theory and controversy related to chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine, but none of the clinical trials has shown the efficacy of chloroquine either alone or in combination with azithromycin. But yes, there are other work. So it's no. If you just look at the data, cancer wait for it. You just go to the hospital and get your treatment. And now in this COVID era, now people have started making COVID dedicated cancer hospitals. So suppose patient is COVID positive, they don't have to delay it, just they have to, facility. But India is far, behind in that respect. Cancer caregiver, they have to maintain hygiene because they are also very integral part, because you have to maintain a chain. Otherwise, if any person in this chain is infected, you can't escape, from being infected. So cancer care in India, this is the best example how we deal with the healthcare issues in our country. So we approach the individual and oriented preventive action, and we just hardly care about the socio-cultural determinants which decides the disease. So I can say in a layman language, we have become very, very selfish as far as the disease management is concerned. If I have the fever, I will go to the hospital, I will take care of my family, but I will hardly worry about the socio-cultural determinants which is actually causing the disease. So until and unless we have a community of population-based approaches to deal socio-cultural determinants, probably we won't be able to achieve concentrated and sustained social policy and as far as social justice in cancer is concerned. If I talk about cancer, the awareness is the most important part. And when it comes to awareness, probably, I take this example of Angelina Jolie. Initially, I thought I will call her mother of cancer prevention, but, being a young guy, it is very difficult to call Angelina Jolie a mother. So it is very difficult. Every male can understand it. So I call it Lady of Cancer Prevention, which is the way she has propagated the message. In India, you ask anybody that, what happened to Angelina Jolie, they will not tell you about the disease. They will tell about the gene. So probably a superstar people know what is more than what is desired to know. So everybody is well aware that she has BRCA1 and 2 positive. For that, she underwent the mastectomy and the oophorectomy. So when I talk about cancer, everybody should consider that cancer is a science, and whatever achievements we have done so far, it was with the scientific approach. Philosophy can help you in your day-to-day life to tackle problem, but when it comes to cancer, to be evidence-based, which is the cornerstone of the success of medical sciences. Cancer is a socio-culture disease. Whenever you go to the society and you observe them for few hours or days, you will come to know that what kind of cancers will be more common in this part of the country. When you first went to the Shillong, I thought, in 11 or 12 o'clock in the night, when I saw ladies, they were having pink lips. So I thought the people on Northeast are so fashionable. Then in 70s, they don't, take out the lipstick at, even at the night. Then I asked somebody why this is happening. So is it, I'm amazed to see that. So they told me it's not about the lipstick. It's about the, chewing pan every time they do it. And if you see the statistics of the Northeast, you will find that most cancer, incidence is highest in the northeastern parts. So socio-cultural things, you have to modify it, although it takes time, but it needs continuous efforts. Complementary and alternative medicine, I know many of the researchers are undertaking research in that particular area to prove its efficacy. But as far as the cancer treatment, the people should be well informed. So most common cancer, it, and tobacco products is the most common cause for the cancer in India, whether it's varies from 30 to 40%, which is preventable. So 80% of the cancer can be easily early diagnosed, and if you early diagnose it, you can cure it. And 70%, 60 to 70% cancer is preventable because you are well aware about the risk factor. Major is tobacco, second is the infection. There is no age for cancer today. And if I can tell you, screening saves life. And if you are doing screening at regular interval, probably you have a probability to live longer. So this is again our publication in COVID-19 and in the impact on the cancer patient outcome and cancer research. You can go it online, you can read it. We have nicely summarized how cancer has impacted our right now cancer patient outcome and cancer research. So if I talk about the post-pandemic era, probably as a doctor, I can see that this is going to be more horrible because nobody has turned up for the cancer treatment. Many of the patients who were follow-up, diagnosed, newly diagnosed, who were undergoing treatment has, halt in the treatment. So there will be increased load of the cancer patient. There will be a delay in completion of ongoing trials because now the researcher will never get, research company will never get, what is desired result as far as the clinical trial is concerned. And probably the duration of clinical trial and increase, probably it will come with the increased cost. As far as the patient is concerned, probably, lack of patient will never ever be cured by cancer in view of delay in their treatment, because in cancer patient, I always say, you get only one chance to get it cured, and first chance is the best chance. So utilize that chance with your best efforts. So increase cancer research cost, and I can say your future of clinical trial in cancer is at stake, and I don't know what will be the future of those trials, which were intended to give us a very new drug which could have saved many lives in the futures. So one thing which is very important in the CAN, which is false claim about complete cure, master key, but I strongly feel that is less documented, less research. So till today, there is no way, there is no treatment for cancer in the complementary and alternative medicine. So whenever you see any of your family members just going for the CAN treatment, just tell them, just go and get treatment with the right people. So I will like to share the, if this slide will tell you how much knowledge we are having about cancer, and it will always guide you that what to do in future. So cervical is always taken as cervical neck pain until and unless prove otherwise, because one of two lady came to my office and they told me that I have taken cervical vaccine, probably I will never have cervical neck pain. So people are not aware cervix is a part of the genitalia and cervical collar is something different. Pan is a good source of calcium. I told somebody, don't eat pan, it may cause cancer. He told me that you don't never know that pan is a good source of calcium. So probably we need to do a randomized control trial. Whenever we get a hypocalcemia patient, we need to randomize it with the calcium supplement in the pan, and we must see that. And youth, probably the who smokes, they always try to defend it. And this is a very, whenever I get to go to take the lecture in the Delhi University, one guy told me that if I smoke 2 cigarettes a day and exercise for 1 hour, probably it just wash out all the harmful smoke. Probably I'm still waiting for the portal of exit from the body when the cigarette smokes, go outside from the body. Chemotherapy does more harm than the gain. This is a misconception, and I personally feel that there is no effect in the life which is without side effect. As a doctor, we are ready to, treat the side effects and we can meet it. But yes, life is one time, you can't reverse it. So yoga can cure cancer. Gomutra can act better than chemotherapy. Gomutra can be, I don't know how good it is to clean the surfaces. I'm not sure about the chemotherapy, and probably people should not try to do that. Can Hanuman Kavach help us in cancer? I never knew that what is Hanuman Kavach. I went online, search for it, and probably whenever they advertise, it's late at night. So probably you have to, get up late at night to see this advertisement. And when I call them that what is no and how they work it, so I got a waiting list of 3 months to get Hanuman Kavach. So probably this tell us we after that I started, I don't feel bad when I say that in our center we have a waiting list of 3 or 4 months. So why don't you take help from Nirmal Baba and Baba Ramdev? Probably this is the mockery of the science. When they come and talk about the health related issues, there is a serious compromise in their work area where they come out and talk, which is not their area of work. So probably they need to work on themselves before they come and try to treat cancer. And for anybody, others' life is not very precious. They have advices. So as I said that nobody will give you anything free except advice. So this helps me to derive a conclusion that we need to work hard among common people in India to make them more aware about the cancer. These are the things, many of the film stars which lost their parents due to cancer, now they are full-fledged doing advertisement for the Gudka. And I just saw this ad on the first page. What is the hell James Bond is doing in Pan Masala ad? So it's really painful and awful to see such kind of thing which, the people who claims that they are trying to improve our society, and they gave a first page ad. So this is, and we are not less, because we ought to organize our conference in ITC Hotel, which stands for Indian Tobacco Company. We must escape ourselves doing this crime. So, and again thing, when I tried to know that what is the success story of Indian Tobacco Company, then I found that they have a maximum investment in life insurance company. Then only I realized, oh my God, their slogan is so perfect. What they say it, Jindagi ke saath bhi and Jindagi ke baad bhi. So probably whenever you are smoking cigarettes, you are giving money to LIC, and whenever you die after smoking cigarettes, the money is with LIC. So what we see in our day-to-day life, that people are dying because of, and we see the situation, so we never advocate. And I will request anybody, if somebody smokes, somebody have tobacco addiction, if you need any help, we can always help you to get rid of it. So this is an epic statement. I just saw it in public, published in Times of India. Although I don't advocate any kind of violence, one guy who was, detected lung cancer, and he thought who was the first person who introduced him to smoking. Then he thought, okay, he was his friend. He went and bought some, revolver, and he just shot him. So I will request anybody, if you are a smoker and you are smoking, always remember the person who first introduced you to smoking. It might help you to take the revenge in later part of life. Although I'm just joking, I never promote the violence. So what is our problem? We have a rapidly expanding population. Many of the time, we people talk about Australia and New Zealand, but we proudly say that India add one Australia every year to our population. So we should not talk about Australia. We should have our own way. But yes, quality of medical education need to be improved. What can be done new? The research, nothing is happening. We are good in mugging up other research, what America is doing, what UK is doing, but what we are doing, it's still a question mark. Government versus private institution, there's a big war going on. So we need to come together, and everybody is talking, working for the people in India. They're not, working for people in South Africa. So there is need to be more trial, and the most important, there is a need for the academy and the industry collaboration. So awareness is the main key. If you want to talk, and for your level, for the community level, we need to have the brand ambassador. We have many brand ambassadors for gutka, tobacco, but still we have, we are not having anyone to promote the cancer. Media need to be more responsible. It's, just show a program of 30 minutes and rest of the 23 hours and 30 minutes, they just talk, advertisement of the, gutka company. So medical fraternity as a role model, NGO, theater, cancer, addiction, and we need to make people more about the alternative method of cancer treatment. So these are another role of complementary and alternative medicine in prevention and treatment of COVID-19. We have, tried to summarize all the, present data and what is the supporting evidence. This is again, we have discussed about the socio-cultural. These are our publication. We have submitted 26. We have already published the 16 article related to different cancer care issues and COVID-19. So this is again for the lung cancer. Oncology nursing is very important, and it needs to be discussed more in detail. This is a hemato-oncology publication. I got an opportunity to write an editorial for the Indian Heart Journal about the coronavirus disease 19. Then Avijit, he's from your place, and he wrote with his other colleagues from US about the cancer immunotherapy and what should be the best idea to give it or not to give it. So tobacco smoking, we have discussed in detail, and how it is important to quit tobacco during this pandemic, because it's another important issue which is related to the lung health. And if you smoke, your lung health is going to be bad. And if you get the coronavirus disease, which is primarily a lung infection, your situation is going to be horrible. So this is cancer patient outcome and cancer research. And right now, everybody knows that there are very less a paucity of research article, and slowly we are getting the results of the data which is maturing. But how important is the viewpoints in oncology, and how this is guiding cancer care in coronavirus disease pandemic. So I always feel we must do the collaboration, we must work in the collaboration, because I and illness is isolation, and the crucial later in wellness are we. So we have to be optimistic, and we must find opportunity in this difficulty where there's no point being pessimist and found this opportunity as a difficulty. So health communities have hope, and those with hope have everything. So I am very hopeful that things will change in future. And with this changing scenario, we have to work together and we have to make a difference for ourselves and to our society, which are very hopeful from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. The slides are really beautiful.
Thank you.
And your lecture has so brilliantly covered the present topic of the webinar. We hope to have you there for our question answer session as well.
You know, at what time you have the question answer session? Can you please kindly tell me?
Yes, sir. Just after there are one RP.
One?
One resource person. After that.
No, what is the time? I just wanted to know the time so that I will connect you again.
After half an hour?
Half an hour? Okay, I will connect you after half an hour. Thank you very much. Okay, I will join that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, now let me invite our last resource person for today's webinar among us, Dr. Tanmay Chakraborty, to deliver his lecture. Dr. Tanmay Chakraborty sir is a postdoctoral fellow in the MRC Center for Medical Mycology, University of Exeter, UK. He started his research career in the field of molecular mycology as a junior research fellow in Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, a premier research institute in India, under the supervision of Professor Kaustubh Sanyal. His research interest was cell cycle regulation by protein kinase and epigenetic regulation of biofilm formation by minor histone variants in human fungal pathogen Candida albicans. He was awarded the Marie Curie ITN Fellowship by pursuing his doctoral studies in the laboratory of Professor Attila Gaxer in the Department of Microbiology in 2014. The topic of his PhD thesis was to elucidate the role of fungal molecules and micronutrient acquisition in the virulence of human fungal pathogen Candida parapsilosis. Recently, he moved to University of Exeter to join as a postdoctoral fellow in Dr. Duncan Wilson's group in the MRC Center for Medical Mycology, University of Exeter, UK. His current research focus is the regulation of zinc homeostasis in human fungal pathogen Candida albicans. We are really obliged to have you with us today as well and hope the participants will gain much knowledge from you. Sir, I request you to kindly take over the platform. Over to you, sir. Hello? Sir, please unmute yourself.
Could you hear me now?
Yes, sir, it's fine.
Thank you for your kind information and welcome all. So I can share my screen. Can everybody see the screen?
No, sir, it's not visible. Yes, sir, now it's clear.
That's clear. All right.
Yeah.
So you can see the presentation, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes,
you can see the presentation, my presentation,
no,
right?
no, sir.
Now?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Do you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So shall I start?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Shall I start? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when I got the invitation from Abhijit and talk about coronavirus, so I was thinking how to present it. So I am not a viral immunologist, but I can tell my views and some update that is happening with the coronavirus treatment mainly. So with that, I want to thank you again, the organizer, for inviting me for this nice webinar. So, so this is the electron microscopic picture of a coronavirus, false colored. So it does not look like this colorful generally, but it's like a black and white picture, and it's the colorful image, falsely made. So this is the electron microscopic picture just to show beginning of my talk. So what are coronavirus? Viruses are like RNA viruses that mainly cause disease in mammals and birds. And it mainly cause respiratory infection in human or animal, which can be mild to lethal. And the mild illnesses include which we all suffer in our daily life, like common cold, runny nose, and all, which is mainly caused by rhinoviruses. But there are more deadly coronaviruses which can cause life-threatening diseases such as SARS, MERS, and recently evolved COVID-19. So there are, it was first identified in 1960s, and there are 7 different coronaviruses that can infect people. And there are 3 main classes of coronaviruses. One is alpha coronavirus, the other one is beta coronavirus, and the recently evolved this COVID-19, which also include this SARS-CoV-2, which happened in 2012, and then SARS-CoV, which happened, I guess, in 2014. So how they give the name of the coronavirus? So the corona means I will show you the picture where you'll see the spike protein, which forms a crown-like structure outside the viral particle, and that's how this coronavirus name came. And so how they give the name of the COVID-19. So this is the proper description how they give the name of the coronavirus in case of COVID-19. So these are the different classification of these 3 deadly coronaviruses that happened in last decade. So the SARS-CoV-2, which happened in 2012, which is called Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS. The other one happened in 2003, which is called Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome 2003, which is called SARS-CoV, and the recent one, which is called Coronavirus Disease 2019 or COVID-19, which is also belong to this SARS-CoV. So that's why we are calling it SARS-CoV-2, which cause severe acute respiratory syndrome related coronaviruses. And these names, there is a committee which called the International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses, and they actually decide the name of the coronavirus or the recently evolved coronavirus 19. So this is a computer generated picture of a coronavirus particle, and as you can see, so these are this red color strings at the RNA or the genetic material of the coronavirus. This is the spike protein, or we call it S protein, and they have this N protein, the blue color one, the M protein, which is the purple color one, and you can see this double membrane, which is formed with a lipid or just a lipid bilayer membrane. So whenever we say that wash your hand with the soap, so the soap actually degrades this lipid membrane, and which can kill the coronavirus. So that's why it's important to clean your hand properly with soap. And this is the genome of the coronavirus, which is a single-stranded RNA genome, and it has many different parts which codes for different proteins that we saw in the picture. And so the main proteins are the spike protein, the endoribonuclease protein, the helicase, the replicase protein, and the protease protein. And there are 2 different protease proteins. And if you see the genome sizes of different RNA viruses, SARS-CoV-2 is exceptional because it has a larger genome compared to the rhinovirus, the HIV, the Zika, the influenza, and Ebola virus, which is almost have a 30 kb genome, the SARS-CoV-2. So how the coronavirus get inside our cells, or how we get infected from the coronavirus? So the basic mechanism of coronavirus entry into the host cell or the human cell is when the
Hello,
coronavirus. Yes.
Sir, sorry for the interruption. Sir, are you changing the slides?
Yes.
But it's not showing. It's not changing.
Which slide you are seeing now?
The first one.
You're still seeing the first one?
Yes, coronavirus prevention strategies, that one.
Oh my God. Now you can see?
No, sir, it's not changing.
That's it. Now?
No, sir. Yes, sir, now it's changing.
That's changing?
Yes,
Now
sir.
it's fine. You can see the naming of coronavirus?
Yeah. That's okay. Okay.
Okay. So I was talking about how the coronavirus attaches with the human cell or how we get infected with the coronavirus. So as you can see from this picture, so this is the S protein of coronavirus particle, which actually binds to the ACE2 receptor, which are present in our olfactory epithelial cells. So as I think everybody knows by now, that shows the positive or negativity of our test. And this is the most reliable strategy to detect coronavirus till now. This is little bit longer, but the antibody test is much faster compared to this coronavirus, compared to the real-time PCR method. Then, so the main topic of my talk today is to tell something about polymerase of the coronavirus, so that the virus cannot replicate inside the cells and the patient get treated. The another popular treatment for coronavirus patient, which is doctors are using in many places, even in India also, which is called the convalescent plasma therapy. And how does it work? So this works with the patients who are already recovered from coronavirus infection. So their serum, so the serum is the part of the blood which actually has the different antibodies generated against the coronavirus in our body. So what they are doing, they are after the treatment, when the patient is cured, so they are taking the serum from that patient, and so as the patient's serum has the antibody against the coronavirus, so they are giving this serum to the new patient or patient which is recently infected. So and this antibody is actually killing the coronavirus or treating the patients, and this is called convalescent plasma therapy. This has very fruitful result in many places, even in USA and India. So doctors are trying to make it more and more efficient to treat the coronavirus until the vaccine is available. So the final part of my talk is so the different viral vaccine strategies. Many of my friends and colleagues are asking when the coronavirus vaccines are coming. So there are different companies which are working on different viral vaccines. So they are taking different strategies to generate coronavirus vaccine. So as you can see, these are the different strategies where they are using the viral RNA molecule, the inactivated viral protein. I'm going to explain in detail in the later slide. Inactivated, so these are inactivated virus particle, the viral protein subunit, or the virus-like particles, the DNA vaccine, and that mutant virus vaccine. These are the different strategies the different companies are taking to treat the to generate the coronavirus vaccine. So so this is a so when people are saying that when the vaccines are coming, or why it is taking so long, so we have to keep it in mind. So the development of vaccine is a multi-step process, and which can take a longer time, because as you know, the HIV pandemic is from in our society for like almost 2 decades or 3 decades, and we still did not have a proper vaccine to treat HIV. So for coronavirus, it's a very recently developed infection or pandemic, so we need more time. So as you can see from this figure, so there are different phases of vaccine development, and which can be divided into 3 main stages. The phase 1, come, this antibody can fight the coronavirus. So, but this strategy has some drawbacks, because sometimes this mRNA is reacting non-specifically in our body, and it is not very stable when it's inside our body or in our bloodstream, and it has also some off-target response, because our immune cells sometimes does not recognize the S protein after it's generated. And so when the RNA is making the viral protein, sometimes the protein structure is not exactly like the actual viral protein, so it can have a which is called like atypical antigen processing. And So we have to remember that inserting a RNA inside our body is a not easy thing to do. So it's like requires specialized injection or specialized instrument to give this RNA for vaccine generation inside our body. So this is one of the strategy. The next strategy, which is almost in the third stage of human trial, I think, or most probably fourth stage, because this is generated by University Oxford here in UK and the company AstraZeneca. So they're collaborating, this university and the company, to generate this vaccine. So this strategy is very similar to the previous one, but in this case, what they are doing, so they are taking a adenovirus from chimpanzee, and so adenovirus immunity. But the problem again, the problem with this, or the drawbacks of the strategy, is that this DNA can integrate inside our genome, which can cause cancer. And again, this again, it has some off-target risk as a vaccine. It can also generate antibody response in our body and protect us from the repeated infection. So, but the risk factor associated with this vaccine is, if your virus is not fully inactivated, so we have a possibility of getting the disease, and it requires a lot of safety strategy. And if the patient has already some immunocompromised issues, like cancer patient or patients with HIV or other infection, so for those patients, this vaccine cannot be used. And generating this manufacturing this high amount of inactivated virus particle is not easy, and it's a huge challenge to generate this kind of vaccine. Always wash your hands, avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. And whenever you are coughing or sneezing, try to cover it. Avoid crowded places. And whenever you feel sick or something, or if you have the symptoms of coronavirus, please stay at home. And if you have fever and cough, like prolonged dry cough, or if you difficulty of breathing, and if you lose the sense of smell and taste, please go to a doctor and get information from trusted sources like good doctors and this CDC's website or Indian ICMR website, and don't try to be safe. And with this, thank you so much. I hope I finish in time. So if you have some questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. That was really a wonderful lecture for you. Now, as we are heading towards the question answer session, I would like to invite Ms. Sushmita Singh to come over and continue with the question answer session. Thank you. Over to you, Sushmita Ji.
Thank you so much, Panchali. Moving ahead with the question and answer session, there are a few questions being put up by the participants for the resource persons. So, Tanmay sir, there are a few questions for you too. So, the first question is being asked by a participant. He says that India have seen inhumanity in its full avatar during this period from private Medicare system. Do you have any effective strategy to tackle this dishonest private Medicare system who treats COVID patients like guinea pigs just to churn out money from this situation?
The question is for me?
Yes, sir, for you.
Can you repeat the question, please, once more?
Okay, sir.
Sorry.
India has seen inhumanity in its full avatar during this period from private Medicare system. Do you have any effective strategy to tackle this dishonest private Medicare system who treats COVID patients like guinea pig just to churn out money from this situation?
So I'm not the right person to answer about this, because I am not the person who actually deals with the the government decision or the private sector how the patient would be treating. I can talk about UK. So in UK, the general public has this healthcare system or the health insurance where they can be treated without taking any money or without paying any money for this coronavirus or any other symptoms. So I cannot talk about India because I know the Indian situation is hugely dependent on private sector, and I don't think we can solve this situation very soon, or the government has any plan to deal with this private sector or how to make it like a national insurance policy or something. Sorry, I'm not the right person to answer about this.
Okay, okay, sir. So, sir, the next question for you is, it is said that coronavirus is an RNA virus. So, and it's very difficult to make a vaccine against RNA virus. What is your
Yes.
take on it?
Yeah, it is true because RNA viral vaccine, like one very good example is the HIV virus, which is also RNA virus. We still do not have a proper vaccine against the HIV virus because stable compared to the DNA. DNA is generally a very stable molecule which can stay in our body for a longer time, but the RNA can degrade very easily inside our body. So this is, or handling RNA is also always difficult. So I think this is one of the reasons the RNA generating a vaccine for RNA viruses is more difficult compared to the DNA viruses.
Okay, sir. So the next question for you again is there any difference between creating a vaccine for man-made virus and natural virus?
I haven't heard of any man-made virus that is causing a global pandemic, so I cannot tell about this. But yeah, definitely generating a virus for generating a vaccine for any disease, be it bacterial disease or viral disease, is always difficult.
Okay, sir. Sir, there is one more question for you. Everyone is talking about herd immunity. Has any country achieved it till now?
As far as I know, near to my place, actually, Sweden has tried to do it. So they don't have any lockdown strategy, or they are not asking people to wear mask and everything. But if you compare the per capita death in European countries, Sweden is in quite in a top place. So it seems like the herd immunity strategy is not working. And even in UK, they plan to do it in UK in the beginning of the pandemic during March and April. But again, the UK has the 4th highest number of deaths in the whole world. So it seems like the herd immunity the strategy is still not working, as far as my knowledge.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for answering these questions. This all would be the questions for you, sir. Thank you so much for being present here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Dear participants, I think there are some more questions put up by you for the resource persons, but since the resource persons are not here with us right now, they haven't joined here in the meet with us right now. So I think we should move on with our next program, that is our valedictory session. So now I would like to invite Mr. Rahul Roy. He is a teacher in the Department of Chemistry of Moinaguri College. He will be presenting his valedictory note, and I would also request him to close the session. Rahul, I hand over the session to you.
Thank you, ma'am. With illuminate award, it is said by Louis Pasteur. Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Devkumar Mukhopadhyay, respected teacher in charge Srimati Susmita Pandit, all the respected invited speakers, our most valued colleagues, and dear participants, it's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on these occasions. I, Rahul Roy, Head of Department of Chemistry and convener of this webinar on behalf of Moinaguri College and the entire organizing committee, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all speakers for gracing your presence and sharing with us your knowledge and experiences. Heartfelt thanks to Dr. Sushant Roy, Secretary,
Bye.